Welcome to Daily Dose of Septuagint. I'm excited to kick off this new channel. It feels appropriate to start with the Greek book of Genesis, and appropriately starting with the very first verse, Genesis 1:1. In arche epoiesin hatheos, tan uranon kai ten gain. We'll start here with in arche, which in Hebrew comes from bereshit, and in arche, of course, is a preposition in followed by the dative of arche, means in the beginning. And the first verb here is from poieo. This is a third singular aorist active indicative from the familiar verb poieo. The underlying Hebrew, though, is bara, which means to create as opposed to do or make. So it's an interesting choice by the translator right out of the gate. Some other scribes or other translators use plaso, which means to form, or katizo, which is probably what would be the more normal equivalent of bara, which means to create. But for whatever reason, the original Greek translator used poieo. The subject here, of course, is hatheos. And so we start with, in the beginning, God made. Then, of course, what did he make? We have the very famous pairing of tan uranan kai ten gain, the heaven and the earth. That is a Hebrew merism, which captures the totality of all things, heaven and earth. It's really interesting. If you just search for that pairing in the Greek New Testament, we'll see that it shows up over 50 times. So many different ways in which we see God as creator and sustainer of both heaven and earth. And perhaps most famously, this verse is echoed in John 1:1. You see here on the screen, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And quite famously, John 1:1 begins with the exact same in arche that we see in Genesis 1:1. And whereas Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning hatheos, John 1:1 says, in the beginning ha logos, which, of course, he is going to, in the subsequent verses, and even in this verse, equate the identities, if you will, of the two. The second person of the triune God, the Logos here, is of the same essence as Hatheos, the Father. And so a beautiful way that John is echoing Genesis 1:1. We'll see actually that John is riffing on a lot of Genesis 1 as we go through the subsequent verses.